I don't have kids, but for years I've watched friends and coworkers making the same financial decisions for one reason. They don't want their kids to grow up like they did. And honestly, it's got me asking some really big questions. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jen. I'm glad you're here. I've noticed a lot of times when parents say yes to things that their kids want, even when they're financially stressed. They want their kids to be involved in everything, all kinds of activities, all kinds of sports, all of these clubs, things like that. And there's constant spending to keep up with this kind of indulgence. And the conversations that they tend to have are that they didn't want their kids to go without. Um, they want them to have more than they did when they were growing up. But I have to wonder, is this about enriching your children's lives, or is this about rewriting past traumas that you experienced as a child? Now, I'm not saying that involving your children in sports and extracurricular activities and various things like that is a bad thing. In fact, it's quite good for kids to learn to be on a team and be able to learn those skills that you learn when you're on a team and you're part of a community, we'll just say. And I'm not talking about parents that really have nothing and are struggling to put food on the table. I'm not talking about that instance. This is more geared towards people in the middle class that want to ensure that their kids have opportunities that they never had when they were a child. And I can see there's a lot of positives to this. Like I said, sports, the kids learn how to work as a team, how to manage, we'll just say manage as a team. Kids seem to be more supported these days than they were when I grew up. And there's obviously more opportunity out there. Technology has given us so many more opportunities. And parents are more intentional and caring. Of course, there's also the point where they get to be helicopter parents and they have to know where their kids are at all time. And you have the Life 360 and all that garbage that was not around, thank God, when I was a kid. And another positive aspect of this would be breaking the cycles of instability. But what is the financial cost to this? These parents have a lot of financial stress. There's a lot of instability in their finances because, we'll be honest with you, all of these sports teams are expensive. They're time consuming. You need to buy, it at minimum, you've got to be able to source the shoes for a lot of these. So a lot of involvement involves even more than that. And then you have to bring the kid to and from practice and all these games, and it's a lot for parents these days, especially since it's always, even if you're a two-parent household, more than likely both parents are working. But I fear that overspending is going to become normalized, and the parents of the children are going to delay saving and investing for their future that they're going to need not long after the children leave the house. And while it looks great on the outside, the kids are always getting to do this and this and this and this, on the inside, it's a lot of financial stress. And how do you manage? How do you go to and from all these places? You got to have a good, strong network of people to be able to help you out in some cases, because if you live in a rural area like I live, you are traveling quite a long ways to go to your job. You can't just up and leave a lot of jobs to go home early to go to a game with your kids. It's just not feasible with a lot of employers where I live. One of my big questions is, what is this teaching our kids? What is the long-term impact going to be? And from what I've seen, these children expect that their lives are going to be filled with more, whatever that more looks like. They've got these expectations that that's how their life is going to turn out. They've got a limited exposure to the word no and what no means. The children have no experience with how to managing how to live with less. They don't know how to emotionally respond to not being allowed to do things, not being able to do things, how to make do. That was one of the things when I was growing up that was a big thing is, well, if you break that, we're going to make do without it, or we're going to fix it. I also have seen a lot of confusion with children and even young adults as far as what a want is and what a need is. And that's a big difference, and that can play a huge impact on your financial future if you cannot create a line between wants and needs. Are we helping our children by removing every single hardship that they have? How are they going to learn to handle life's challenges? And I want to be clear, this isn't about making kids struggle, making them work for everything they got. This is just a look at how can we prepare our children for a life that is going to probably be harder than what we've been given. Can we normalize telling them no? Focus on having them gain skills. What about modeling spending habits as parents and adults that these children see? Can we show them what responsibility really is? And can we show them how to take care of the things that they have so they will last longer, so that they can repair them, so that they won't be just a wasted throwaway item? Can we help them choose what activities they want to do? Can we say, well, we can only afford for you to do 1 out of 4 sports or 2 out of 4 sports. Which ones are you going to choose? Do you want the soccer, the basketball, the football, the baseball? Give them an opportunity to choose. Can we involve them in the budgeting process? Let them know how much money each of these things is going to cost, how many hours have to be worked to be able to afford this particular thing that they want to do. Get them involved in something like this. Maybe even a good way of involving is saying, well, this is going to cost X many dollars, which is equivalent to this many hours per week of washing the dishes, doing laundry, vacuuming the house. Give them an equivalent that they can understand and work towards to understand how much this is actually costing. When it comes down to it, a better life doesn't come from having all the things. It comes from knowing how to handle and manage all the uncertainties that life brings. How are we going to prepare our children for stuff like that? Maybe it's okay for our children to see us struggle paying things. I know we want to protect them. I know we want to protect them from the evil in the world and the bad things. But some things may be a need for them to learn. I'm curious, what are your thoughts on this subject? Where where are you in your stage of life? Are you retired and you see grandkids that are being given everything by their parents? Are you a parent that is sacrificing your future by giving everything to your children? Do you have ideas to help other parents out there with how to teach our kids responsible spending, how to teach our kids to learn about wants versus needs? I want to know what your guys' experience is with this. Please leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you have liked this content, please feel free to like and subscribe to see more. I thank you for hanging out with me today. I will see you in the next one.